Abdurrahman Yusuf Megida is my name. I'm also here again to present on teaching and the teacher, the foundations. Today, Module 2 centers on philosophical considerations in teaching. With this, we need to see what are we to achieve in terms of the learning objectives. And by the end of this lesson, the learners should be able, one, to relate the perspective and conception of teachers with teaching based on different schools of thought. Then, the second thing to be done here is the definition of a teacher. 3, highlight the roles and qualities of a good teacher in philosophical perspective. Also, we're to highlight the ways of knowing, which in other words can to be sources of knowledge. Then lastly, we're going to mention the established ethical requirements of teachers. By so doing, let's look at philosophical school of thought. Now, philosophy of the teachers and the teaching based on different schools of thought. We have all these schools of thought: realism, idealism, existentialism, and pragmatism. For realism, reality can be obtained from material world, which of course a teacher will have a focus on the real object based on the sense organs, what I see, what I hear, what I feel, and what I touch. All of these will be the focus of the teacher who is a realist in his teaching. But for the idealist, this one centers around minds and its working. They believe that the ideas in the mind of the student can go or take him to any length. But in the case of existentialism, this one is concerned with the quality of life of man that he lives, his existence, choice, and possibility. But in the case of the pragmatism, a pragmatist in meaning is the one that talks about the determination in the meaning and the true value of any idea. This is the one that is practical. A teacher who is a pragmatist will always want a student to be able to perform or manipulate in the area of psychomotor. We want to see what they can do. This is what it is known with a pragmatist. Then, let us look at what is the role we can say a teacher performs in the school or in the environment he finds himself or herself. First, who is a teacher? Looking at this, a teacher is a skillful person, is an informed person, a knowledgeable individual who imparts knowledge into the learners. Then let's look at the roles of a teacher now. Teacher himself is a person. Is a person, not a robot, not a machine. He should be able to remain a person and personality of himself. Then again, is a curriculum interpreter. Breaking down the curriculum is the responsibility of a teacher into syllabus, schemes of work, and into different units for teaching in the class. Also, is a deliverer of instruction. The teacher will be the one to stand in front of his learners and be able to teach them to understand and interact with them as a teacher. Then he's also a manager. The class is managed by a teacher. Managed in terms of the discipline in the class. Every activity that takes place in the class is the responsibility of the teacher to manage both himself, his conduct, and at the same time, the learners he has in the class. He manages everything. He's also a counselor. It goes beyond the class. Any student or a pupil who has any problem, the teacher is also in best position to be able to assist in the way of advising or counseling in whatever form to be able to allow the child to have a relief environment. Then again, a community relation officer is also a teacher, because in the issue of turn and gown, talking about the school environment and the environment outside the school where the school is established, all of this, the teacher should play a role to maintain a peaceful and harmonious relationship with the environment he finds himself. Concept of in loco parentis. The roles of teacher, as already highlighted, they are enormous, ranging from all that already mentioned above. But unique is this role we are talking about in loco parentis, meaning that assuming the role of parents to the children in school for the period of their stay. That is, a teacher assumes that role of a parent to any child in school, whether headache, whether hungry, whatever it is at all, the teacher assumes the parent's role as soon as the child is with them in the school. Now, epistemology as one of the branches of philosophy, which deals with knowledge. One major thing that is philosophically associated with teaching and learning is knowledge or knowing. Teacher requires the knowledge of subject matter and the understanding of appropriate teaching pedagogy. Learners need knowledge for excellence, and knowledge is evaluated to measure success or excellence. Now, what are the ways of knowing? The ways of knowing or sources of knowledge, as already put, we have one, empiricism or scientific ways of knowing or knowledge. Now, this one is basically in the area of testing or experimenting what can be achieved in school. Some of these are done in the laboratory for students to be able to have the knowledge of whatever it is. It is a way of investigation that will result in the result expected, which of course cannot be manipulated. Then again, reasoning and rationalism. Reasoning and rationalism is this one that everyone who is to have this type of knowledge must use his head to be able to think of how good or bad whatever it is that is presented. Then again, intuition. This is about intuitive knowledge, which of course it is the person who uses his IQ, the understanding, as if is spoken to by something to do something. That is exactly how intuition works. Somebody will now work based on the conviction that he has already been spoken to by something. Though not seen, but something must have spoken to the person, and then the person can gain knowledge from whatever has already spoken to. Then the authority, we talk about this in the area of reading literature or materials written by others who are considered to be authors. So knowledge gained through the reading or a review of literature, they are what we call knowledge by authority. Then again, we have that of the common sense, which is general. Everybody knows that common sense is to be applied in whatever we do, because whatever you are doing, if it is good or bad, you yourself will know. And this is exactly what the common sense is talking about in the area of sources of knowledge. And that of revelation. This one is spiritual, that somebody can dream about it, somebody can appear to you and give you whatever information that is necessary. So this one is something that is spiritual, as I have said. So now, let's look at qualities of a good teacher, which of course we are going to give a philosophical explanation. Now we have these other branches of knowledge. Other branches of philosophy. We have these other branches of philosophy, which include metaphysics, that is, of being or nature of man. Then we have epistemology and logic, knowledge and correct or sound reasoning. Axiology, which is about aesthetics and ethics. Then when we now want to break them down under these branches of philosophy, then we can talk about knowledge mastery, which of course is epistemology. Whatever you want to have as knowledge will always be epistemological. Then when you are resourceful or initiative as a teacher, then it means that logic is applied. Logic is applied in the sense that somebody who is resourceful will think of what is appropriate at different times and be able to see how it can meet the need of his learner. Then creative and innovative, this is aesthetics. Different things can be manufactured or can be made manually or in any other form to be able to assist or color the teaching, for which learner will be able to pick ideas from whatever it is presented. Then competent and poised. This is a metaphysics. It is about the person, that the person should have a poise. He should have that confidence in himself when he is teaching. So definitely any teacher who is poised and confident, learners will also appreciate whatever he teaches. Then good appearance. A teacher is also to be well dressed. Should be well dressed as a teacher, not dressing in such a way that we take the mind of the learners away from what he's doing. Because a teacher that is wearing no colorful but with one image picture of whether a Spider-Man or something, the children will focus on the Spider-Man. Whatever the teacher says will not even mean anything to the learner. So a teacher should be well dressed as required as part of the norms of the school system. Then we talk about right attitude and integrity. This is dealing with about ethics. The teacher should have a right attitude. He should not be found wanting in his profession. He should also conduct himself as an individual who is able to carry along his learner in a normal and required way. Then again, we have flexible and enthusiastic. A teacher should also be very flexible, to be enthusiastic. When a teacher is entering the class and you are wearing a face or a look that even scares your pupils or learners away, then it means that they will be afraid even to give response. Even whatever you are teaching, they are not after it. They are always already panicked for the appearance the teacher is wearing. So a teacher should be flexible. It's not all the time shouting on them or scolding them for everything. You should be cheerful, enthusiastic, and make sure that your learners are there to accept you for who you are. Then audible. Audible is also one of the metaphysics components, because a teacher should be able to talk aloud to the class for children or learners to hear whatever he or she says. Then again, legibility is also one of the factors. This is also aesthetics. A teacher should write clearly for good and correct words to be put on the board, not a situation where something will be written. For instance, now you are going to write a market, and at the end of the day, the R after MA is now looking as if you are writing fee or you. Then it is already a distortion. And when you are writing, writing should be on a very straight line, not the one that will be going from west and eating the northeast. So all of these, they are part of the qualities that are expected from a teacher in the school. Then, looking at the Teacher's Code of Ethics, ordinarily we have the one adapted from the Teaching Council of the Republic of Ireland. But importantly, we should consider the ethics of teaching profession in Nigeria. One, maintaining trust in the profession. A teacher should be trusted, because we have said earlier, is a loco parentis. The children put in his care, he should maintain trust. The result or record in his care should also be in trust. So this is what this one is saying as part of the ethics of teaching profession in Nigeria. Then again, maintaining professional relationship with students. Not that because you are a teacher, you now constitute yourself as a no-go area. You should also relate very well, but not a relationship that we manifest irresponsible eroticism or any other type of a relationship that is out of context. This is what this one is telling us. They're respecting uniqueness and diversity of students. Different students are there in the school. We have those who are disabled. We have those that are hard of hearing. We have those that have a poor sight. So all of these, they are not supposed to be made to realize their deformity. You should try and respect whatever their uniqueness. Even those that are the brilliant ones, you should also make them to realize that, yes, they are brilliant, but that is not to the extent that they will feel above or on top of the world. So now again, working in collaborative manner with colleagues, parents, and the guardians. The teacher, we have said it already, that he should be a community person. He should also be an environmental person. Wherever he finds himself, we expect that the teacher should be able to conduct himself or herself and be able to relate very well with the teacher, the co-staff in the school, with those who are outside, the parents that are coming or guardians that are visiting the school. It should not be somebody that will be very insultive, somebody that will not even accept people from whom they are, because different parents will come with different manifestations. In this sense now, we believe you should be able to manage that as a teacher. Then again, acting with honesty and integrity. This is similar to what we have said in the first point we raised there, maintaining trust in the school. A teacher is a custodian of so many things. It should not be a teacher that will continue to change score. It should not be a teacher that will be fondling with the female students or female learners. All of these, if the teacher can be able to at least curtail himself away from all of these atrocities that are designated in the school as school bad behavior on the part of the teacher. all of this, we believe that then a teacher will continue to remain a good teacher. Then keeping their professional knowledge and practice. Now, a teacher should also maintain that his professional skill should continue to be improved by way of upgrading himself from time to time, and also reading wide, even ahead of the class, so as to be able to meet the possible questions that will be asked by the student, so as not to be disappointed in the front of the learners. Then, having concluded this, now we need to now wrap this lesson up with a review of quite a number of things that we have discussed in this module. Now, let's look at the review exercise. Who is a teacher? We have said it, the teacher is a person who actually imparts the knowledge into the learner, is a skillful person who can do that. So also, what are the roles of a teacher? We have mentioned the teacher as a person, the teacher as a counselor, the teacher as a manager, and it also we discuss what we call a loco parentis, that is taking responsibility on behalf of the parent for as long as their children are with him in the school. So also, we talk, what are the qualities of a good teacher? We have discussed all of these, that a teacher, as we are saying, must be somebody that can be trusted, must have integrity, must maintain good relationship with colleagues, the staff, those who are parents or guardians of the children who are coming to school, at the same time the community in where the school is sited. Then discuss the ways of knowing and sources of knowledge. We have all these, including one, revelation. We have the one that we call knowledge by authority. We have the one we call the knowledge by intuition, knowledge. All of these, we believe that they will go a long way to be able to give a philosophical base to whatever the teacher does in the school. What are the established ethical requirements of teacher? We've discussed this, which of course centers on maintaining trust in the school, maintaining the teacher's integrity. We also have a situation where we expect that the teacher should also continue to update his knowledge, professional qualification, and all that. Then again, how can the philosophy of teachers be related with teaching based on different schools of thought? We have these 4 schools of thought discussed earlier. We talk of idealism, we talk about realism, we talk about existentialism and pragmatism. A pragmatist teacher is the one that emphasizes on the real practice, not just the idea or not just seeing the real thing. But in the case of the realists, they emphasize the use of the sense organs, such like having to feel, having to see, having to hear, having to taste, and all these, they are what we recognize in the realism. But in the idealism, consistently look at ideas and believing that the mind will continue to do the job. But in the case of existentialism, it is about the status, the quality, and the life of man and the way he sees himself. And that is existentialism. Now we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you.